All right, Padres fans, we've got some news. A new reliever to the bullpen, Tai Adcock is this guy's name. 28 years old. He's made 18 big league appearances across the past 3 seasons with the Mariners and the Mets. AJ Cassavell, he put up a write-up on MLB.com about Tai Adcock, so I'm going from that. I'm not going to act like I know a ton about this guy. Just looking at his face, it kind of reminds me of Austin Adams with the beard and all that. So for Padres fans that were following the team then, you know what I'm talking about. And this really is just depth. The Padres announced this move today. It was a 1-year deal. I doubt it's even $1 million. The guy doesn't have a ton of big league appearances recently. The past 2 seasons, pitched at AAA, had a 4.66 ERA with the Mets affiliate in Syracuse. He has been pitching in the Dominican Winter League, allowed 2 earned runs over 9 innings and 15 strikeouts to no walks. Now 5 spots left on the 40-man roster. So I really don't have a ton to add other than this is a guy that could end up being impactful and be in bigger situations. Could this be a David Morgan situation where, sure, there's like locked-in Padres fans that knew who David Morgan was, but definitely got to know more about him as he continued to pitch better. And then I would have put him in that high leverage reliever group eventually. So will we see that? Because right now, Tai Adcock is a guy that's, the last guy in the bullpen, maybe second to last guy. We'll see what someone like Ron Marinaccio's future is with the team. And obviously it's very early, it's December 4th. Like there's still a lot of moves to be made. But these are the types of moves that you're going to see the Padres make this offseason. When you have an ownership sale that's going on, are players, one, going to want to come to the team with what's going on? I think if that's the option, because the Padres are still a contending team, okay. But it's mainly not even players wanting to come. It's more just the other side of it. The Padres aren't going to be giving out long-term contracts. They already have a ton on the books. And the more long-term contracts you give out, whether it's 1, whether it's 2, 3, 4, that just makes it less appealing to the next ownership that comes in because they're like, that's not my player. I didn't give them a long-term deal, but I have to inherit this long-term deal. So we're just not going to see that. So right now, got a rotation. When I saw Tai Adcock's name, I figured it was a rotation piece, but then because I didn't know who he was, and then I looked him up and saw that, no, he was actually a reliever. I'm seeing that he averaged 97 miles per hour with his cutter, with the fastball, a cutter in the low to mid 90s, high 80s slider. So there's numbers there where it's like, all right, if he can command, mix his pitches well, he can be an effective big league reliever for the Padres. And this isn't really a worry of mine. The bullpen, AJ Preller's had a history of having a good bullpen, regardless of the big name guys that have left. And there's been a lot of big name guys that have left. So this guy will probably impact the team positively in 2025. But I don't blame you if you're not super hyped about the addition of Tai Adcock to this Padres team. Not the best last name, but hey, maybe we can have some fun with that when he dominates, right? The other thing I wanted to get to was AJ Preller still not having an extension. He's going to continue to do his job. He's going to continue to find a way to keep this Padres team as a contending team on paper. And maybe they won't look as well as they will before the trade deadline because, there's an evaluation period that goes on there where then you can find out, all right, what do we really need here? And especially when you're on a budget like the Padres obviously are, we may not have that complete team on opening day. So hopefully fans will understand that, recognize that. I care about, are the Padres in it before the deadline? And then do they make those moves before the deadline to put themselves in that World Series contending position on paper, which is all AJ Preller can do. That's all he can do. And that's what he did this past season. And he has a track record of doing that recently. So I have faith in him, especially when it comes to the bullpen. But this no extension thing, I don't know. I thought that this was supposed to be happening pretty soon. And it seems like AJ Preller knows an extension is going to happen because that's what I've been hearing. I think Darren Smith said that on his podcast. I'm pretty sure Dennis or Kevin, one of them, have hinted at that it's probably going to get done. But when is it going to get done? Like, I still think an extension is going to get done, but it's just something that, to be honest, I don't think the Padres have been on a lot of people's minds recently because there haven't been a ton of moves being made, right? There was the Stammen stuff, obviously, and then I don't even remember who was the starting pitcher that they added. I wonder if I'll see it on Fangraphs. I'll probably have to go to the transactions page, the Padres transactions page, just to see who this was earlier this offseason, because I already don't remember the guy's name. This was last month. Maybe it was just them re-signing Kyle Hart. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. They re-signed Kyle Hart. Like, that was the other move this offseason. And it's like, yeah, that's what you're going to see from this Padres team. 1-year deals, not a lot of money. And really, if you think about it, sure, impactful pieces before the deadline, yes. But we know that the core talent on this team, why they're going to win a World Series or go deep on a run, maybe there's, your Miguel Rojas that comes through like the Dodgers, with the Dodgers, in a special moment in the postseason. But you get what I'm saying when, like, big picture, full regular season, majority of the postseason, it's your big guys that are going to have to come through, and the big guys are already on this roster. To me, that's the good news. You could argue like the big guys probably want some more big guys in the rotation. But lineup-wise, of course, you always want more, but, like, there's big guys here. There's big guys in the bullpen. And we'll see what happens with the Mason Miller situation. I think Dan Plesac said on MLB Network earlier this offseason that Mason Miller wants to start. I don't want to mess with that, to be honest. It's a tricky thing because it's like, well, Mason Miller, he's one of your best pitchers, obviously. He's your best reliever. You're going to go against what he wants to do. But, like, I want him to be my highest leverage reliever because I think Preller said this as well earlier in the offseason, I don't want a situation where you've got one great area, one mediocre area, and instead now you turn it into two mediocre areas instead of one great. At least I want to still have that one great and then try to improve on the mediocre area on this roster. Pivetta, Musgrove, great. Vasquez had some good moments. After that, there's obviously question marks there. They're going to add more starting pitching. Like, this isn't what they're going to go in with, at least the options. They're going to have more options to go with. I just want to keep Mason Miller in that bullpen and just have a dominant bullpen because at least we can fall back on that, right? We could fall back on that in the postseason. Offense needed to come through, but we could fall back on that bullpen because even if your starting pitching is good, that doesn't mean that they're going to be going 6. They're not actually, like, literally, they're factually not going to be going 6 innings every start out in the postseason. So let's not make two mediocre areas. And maybe their area of strength got better here with this addition of Tai Adcock. On my Twitter, there's some strikeouts there from 2023. I was joking around when I was saying get hyped for Tai Adcock. Maybe I will be hyped for him at some point in this season, and I'll throw him in the high leverage. Yes, I trust this guy, but I don't really know who this guy is. I'm not going to lie here. So, yeah, that's that. And then again, Preller, you'd like him to be extended already. Like, is it money? Is it Josh Stein as the GM? Is AJ pushing for that? And then the Padres don't want that? Is Grupner involved here? And I think we know their relationship isn't great. When they're asked about it, all they say is essentially it's a good working relationship. Okay. All right. That's all you need to know there. So I don't know what's the holdup. I don't think the team's going to be sold immediately because, like, if it's going to be sold immediately, it's like, okay, well, Then you give the new ownership the decision of whether to keep AJ at the end of 2026 or not, right? Give him an extension or not. But how long is this going to take? Are they going to come in mid-season next year? Are they going to come in before spring training as a new ownership group? I mean, the offseason for AJ would have been done if they're going to come in like right before spring training, or a good chunk of the offseason for AJ, at least the work. They just let him hire his manager. Clearly it was his manager, Craig Stammen. And then they let Stammen hire his guys. And we'll see who the third base coach is. I haven't seen anything on that recently. So to me, it's just like the signs are like, yeah, we're giving AJ the power here to do it. So why is there not an extension? And the new ownership group, whoever it is coming in, I think they'd be stupid to be like, nope, we're going to tear this all down. We just hired a new manager, but we're going to go bring in a new president of baseball operations who didn't hire this manager, doesn't know the farm system, doesn't know the organization. And I think AJ Preller is one of the best baseball minds in baseball in the league, So that, to me, that just doesn't seem very smart. It's a contending team. How about the new ownership comes in, they evaluate the team and how things are run before they make a big decision like that. So, to me, it's like, just give AJ the extension. If the new ownership group comes in and they don't want to go with AJ Preller, then all right, there's a buyout or whatever in the contract and you move along. But you just gave Stammen, what was it, a 3-year contract? So match it up. Stop, take this out of the conversation. Don't let this be something that keeps going and that's all AJ's asked about when he talks to the media. Because he's going to be asked about it again at the winter meetings if there's not an extension done, which I think the winter meetings are next week in Orlando. So this is something that's just going to keep going on and on and on. And AJ Preller extension news, if that comes down, I'm going to be happy, of course, but it's still not going to change the roster. Preller's going to keep operating the way he does, and he's still operating the way he always does. He's working his butt off. So to try to make this team into a World Series team. So we know that that's going to be the case this year, so that's still good. With Preller, it's like, if you don't bring AJ back after 2026, who are you replacing him with that's going to be better than AJ Preller? Because you can say AJ Preller is not the best GM in baseball. He's not the best baseball mind in base. There's other guys you can throw in there, whether that be, Andrew Friedman, right, is someone that obviously people would immediately think of. Okay, but he's not a bottom half GM in baseball, and I don't think he's a bottom 2/3 GM in baseball. I'd put him at least in the top third. And you can call me biased, but I don't care. So I think it's kind of like, appreciate what you have. And again, they have the big talent to go on a World Series run. I think that talent needs to perform better in a best of 3 wildcard series.